What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Sansom Sports Media podcast. As you can tell, you can see our faces. So if you're watching this on YouTube or TikTok or wherever, thank you guys so much for being here today. Mike, good to see you. How you doing?
All right. Um, we got 3 weeks, 3 full weeks left of college football. I think before the championship week, so this should be very interesting.
And
And
this weekend definitely did not help things.
no, it did not. Not if you're an ACC fan.
No.
Um, and basketball, we have some big matchups to discuss so far.
Yeah.
Um,
Week one, I feel like there's been a lot of people saying that week one was down, but I disagree a little bit. I
we'll
think they,
go over some of the biggest
yeah.
wins so far as like top 5, top 10 biggest wins to this point.
Yeah, I feel like it's just been a little more spread out than we're used to. The Champions Classic didn't happen on Tuesday like it normally does, and that kind of thing. But before we get ahead of ourselves, just wanted to take a minute, introduce that this will be the Sansom Sports Media podcast from here on out. There's nothing that really changes. You're still going to get Mike. You're still going to get myself. We'll have the occasional guest, and we're still going to cover the same content. We're doing this just to help realign a little bit with our the rest of the brand and make sure that everything's kind of on the same page. This was that final piece that I needed to pull over. We've switched over from Spotify to StreamYard to help power our podcast recording. With that, we have the video capabilities and decided it was a good time to go ahead and change up the name. Make sure you follow Michael Gross on Twitter, and then at Bracket NKY for myself, and that'll get you on X, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook is just Sansom Sports Media, and we'll have all of that linked in the details below. So we kind of already started touching on what we're going to get into today. College basketball, college football, both are kind of off and running. Football, we're starting to really get down to crunch time. There's maybe 25 teams left that have a real shot at the playoff. College basketball obviously is wide open. We do have 3 teams with a Division II loss that we will get to in a little bit. But other than that, nobody really derailed their resumes too much. But there have been some massive wins as we get started. With that, Mike, college football week 11. What
Yes.
were your thoughts? Just overall, quick hitter, what you got?
Um, Indiana down the stretch starting to concern. I mean, they're going to be a playoff team, but I think the question about it them being now the number 2 team, you know, when you think of a number 2 team, you think of wow, that's a team that really has a great shot to win the national championship. And now, I mean, they needed a foot down in the end zone to get past Penn State.
And that was far and away the best catch that I've seen this year.
Yeah.
In the last several years, I would say that that's been the best catch I've seen.
Um, I'll be interested to see if A&M with their pretty convincing win over Missouri moves past them up to number 2. It doesn't matter that much at the moment as far as like, seedings and
Yeah,
they're both going to be playoff teams, I think.
I
It would
agree.
take something catastrophic for either one to not,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of interesting. Um as you go a little further down, Georgia after giving up the first touchdown was very impressive against Mississippi
Yeah.
State. Um they're evolving to being a more offensive first team instead of a defensive first team is interesting.
It is, but also it's kind of needed. I mean, in the way that football's played, I mean, you've got A&M scoring 38, Ohio State's averaging 30 plus a game. You have to kind of just become offensive. I personally don't think you're going to win as much if you're a defensive only team.
Yeah. I suspect Georgia will still be behind Bama because Bama has the head-to-head win. So that
Yep.
really, and again, right now, I don't think that matters a lot
So
because I think Georgia can take at least another loss. Same with Alabama and make the playoff comfortably.
agreed.
Um, and there's a chance now that some of these teams could take 2 losses and make it.
Especially, I mean, you're talking A&M, Indiana, Ohio State, all three of them. Indiana, maybe not with their schedule, but they could all afford 2 losses and get in. A
Yeah,
2-loss team at the top of those two conferences are going to get in. Your 3-loss Alabama or a 3-loss Georgia, 3-loss Texas might find their way in. Texas, I think, has a very convincing case to get in with 3 losses, especially with the way their schedule is working out.
even 3-loss Oklahoma has a shot.
Agreed.
But and one team that's now still alive after getting past Auburn is Vandy, although that was not exactly very settling.
Yes.
But the Big 12, Utah is still on the outside looking in, and that's not going to change after last week.
Yeah.
And obviously BYU is going to fall several spots. I mean, they were up behind the whole game against Tech.
Correct.
And they kind of looked like the 10.5-point underdog that they were.
Yeah.
So I suspect they'll fall to around the 11-12 range. They may even fall further behind. I'm not sure. So I'm not really sure where they're going to end up. Oregon survived against Iowa.
Yeah.
I think the problem with Oregon there is I think they kind of allowed Iowa to kind of dictate the score/tempo of the game, and it allowed them to have to kick a field goal at the end to win.
Yeah.
But Oregon, I mean, they're still a 1-loss team. They're pretty comfortably in. I don't know what the remaining schedule, if they can probably afford a loss, I suppose. But we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
That pretty much ended Iowa's chance, I think, of getting in, as long with Washington falling to Wisconsin. That ended their chances.
Yeah.
But USC and Michigan still have a shot. The ACC is in a lot of trouble now.
I agree.
Virginia, Louisville, both falling. Miami, I guess, will probably be the highest ranked ACC team now.
I don't know. Georgia Tech might. I went with Georgia Tech, but it's very
Did you?
close. Yeah.
It's close.
I have them
But,
like back to back, like 13 and 14 or 14 and 15, somewhere in that range. So not necessarily like would be in, but they're right there on the edge for me.
well, and at this point, it's going to be, at least at the moment, the conference champion, we would assume. So
Yes.
Tech does lead that. They
Yeah.
are 5-1, along with Virginia and Pitt, and SMU also, all 5-1. Miami is 3-2.
I gave Tech the tiebreaker, or not tiebreaker, but I gave them the nod over everybody else because they're 8-1, sitting there with that 1 loss as opposed to having multiple losses. So, again, it'll all work itself out, but it's very ugly to say the
And
least.
to be fair, Tech did at least come into the week with a 1 spot
Yeah,
ahead of Miami, so I suspect that'll stay.
agreed.
But that is interesting. People, I guess, have brought up is it actually possible that the ACC could get left out? If you want to take that away,
It absolutely is a theory, like in theory, possible. However, it's not going to happen this year. So the top 5 conference champions get a automatic qualifier into the college football playoff. That does not mean that the Power Four plus one of the group of 5. That means the top 5 conference champions. So if JMU and let's say South Florida were ranked higher than the ACC champ, then yes, technically the ACC would not get that automatic bid, meaning they would be left out. However, let's be real for a minute and let's just call it what it is. The Power Four are always going to get a bid, and there's always going to be one left over for the group of 5. That's just the way the world's going to work, and we're just going to have to kind of get used to that.
I mean, best case scenario, you're going to see South Florida JMU at like 24, 25, like they are in the AP poll, and at Georgia Tech, Miami are still going to be at like 16, 17 play.
Yeah.
And there isn't much that JMU, SMU can do, or South Florida can do to really bump themselves up much.
Agreed.
So, but it is a fun little thing to explore.
It's definitely something that I think eventually could happen because unfortunately, there seems to be a bigger separation from the SEC and Big Ten to the ACC. I mean, the Big 12 is kind of in the middle on its own little tier, but the ACC is definitely falling behind quickly, especially with teams not kind of keeping up as we're seeing.
Yeah.
Other scores and results that you wanted to kind of hit on or anything at all?
Let's see. Trying to think of what we missed. I know Notre Dame, after kind of a slow start against Navy, really pulled away in the second half.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on the ACC struggled with Virginia, Louisville falling, Vandy survived Auburn, Miami won. We know about Washington falling to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You mentioned their vote of confidence for Wisconsin maybe helping. I don't know.
I don't know that it necessarily helped, but I think it took some of the pressure. So, I mean, Wisconsin got a big win over Washington. They did it with their defense. They won like 13-10 or something like that. So not a great win, not a needle mover. But this week, Luke Fickell did get confirmed that he is coming back for 2026. And I think that just took some of the pressure away from like that team to kind of keep performing. And they just went out there and had fun a little bit and ended up beating a solid Washington team.
SMU 45, Boston College 13.
Boston College, I don't know what to tell you for Boston College, to be fully honest. I don't know what they need to do. I don't get it. What'd you say?
Both sports, both basketball and football.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean,
so unfortunately, I think they're going to need help.
Still pretty good. I don't know, but you know.
Agreed. Other results that I kind of wanted to call out, JMU remains kind of right there in the thick of everything.
Yes.
Tulane and Memphis continue to Tulane beat Memphis, apologies, opening up and making that group of 5 spot just a little bit more chaotic. I am still giving the nod to the AAC champion, but there is absolutely a case where JMU jumps the AAC conference champ.
I wonder, I mean, I don't know that JMU has that difficult of a schedule to finish, and so they have an excellent chance of being 12-1.
Correct.
But
does it 12-1 JMU get in over like a South Florida who's got the marquee wins and has a little bit more offensive firepower? I have a hard time getting there for JMU, unfortunately, but it's not impossible.
Even Tulane has the 20-point win over Northwestern, who
is
5-14.
Yeah. I would personally rather see the AAC champ get in over JMU, and I think the committee will agree. I think JMU's just a step or two behind, and their schedule just being weaker has helped kind of elevate them.
Yeah.
Speaking of a team who's elevated this year, UConn 7-3. They beat Duke this weekend pretty well. Obviously Duke, and they're not playing a great schedule, but UConn's got their pack in their field. They look good. Just wanted to kind of give them a shout out. Jim Mora's got that team rolling.
I'm told the ACC is looking to recruit UConn into their conference. Joke. I don't know.
You got to be careful about saying stuff like that. UConn fans would be very intrigued by that proposition.
Yes.
But for now, there is no confirmation here or there of that. But ACC does need some help. What?
They could use some help.
They really could. Other massive result for a coach on the hot seat. Kentucky beat Florida 38-7. I think this probably buys Stoops another year. This is the first 30-point SEC win for Kentucky since like 1992 or something like that. So a little bit over 30 years. So significant win. Doing it over Florida will help the fan base kind of relax as well.
To help the Florida fan base.
The Florida fan base is just already on to basketball at this point. So we'll see you all soon.
Right.
Hawaii took care of San Diego State. I don't know if you watched this one late night Saturday, but Hawaii absolutely dominated San Diego State out in Honolulu. Yeah. It was a rainy, ugly game, but Hawaii looked the part. They're now 7-3. SDSU sits there at 7-2. And to kind of close out the results that I wanted to touch on, Nebraska's TJ Lateef, freshman, comes in, goes off, throws for like 205 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns, carries them to a win over UCLA. Obviously, Dylan Raiola is hurt and out for the year. Any other kind of thoughts or scores that caught your eye that you wanted to mention, sir?
I don't know about scores. I know we discussed JMU's chances to be a group of 5 spot.
Yep.
And I'm looking at anyone else that's got a shot. I still don't see it from like say Conference USA or MAC, and I don't see it from the Mountain West anymore either.
Yeah.
So it really feels like it comes down to AAC JMU.
I agree.
Of course, when you do that, I mean that takes you only have 135 FBS schools, so that's like not quite a third, but it's a good quarter of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Moving to so I mean we already touched on the ACC and just kind of what they're doing. Iowa and Washington, like you mentioned, pretty much cooked. I don't see them getting up to the college football playoff. And we already talked about some of the teams that have a chance. I mean, I think we're down to. I have it roughly at 7, 9. 29 teams that have a real shot at making it, and that includes 6 teams in that group of 5 section. So that's really the biggest, like a big chunk there, and only one of those teams is going to get in. So really, you're looking at 21 teams for 11 spots.
That's about right.
And I mean, that's including, I have Vanderbilt, I have Pittsburgh, I have Cincinnati, I have Houston still on the list technically because they just have the 2 losses. So that should shrink soon.
So ACC teams only play 8-game schedule, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
So then right away, Boston College, Syracuse, Florida State, Stanford, UNC, NC State, Virginia Tech, Clemson, Cal, Wake, all eliminated.
Yeah.
On. So only Miami, Louisville, Duke, SMU, Pitt, Virginia, Georgia Tech. Those are the teams from the ACC alive. We only expect to see one of them.
Well, and you can eliminate several of those by looking at their non-conference slates. And once you get to 3 losses from those teams, you're done. So that's another aspect why, like, you can cut out like SMU and Duke and that kind of thing.
Yep. And for the Big 12, it's possible to have more than 2 in.
Yeah.
But when you look at Oklahoma State, Colorado, UCF, West Virginia, Kansas, Iowa State, Kansas State, TCU, none of those have a chance anymore.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, you're down to BYU, Texas Tech, Utah, Cincinnati, Houston.
Yep.
Houston obviously did not look great this weekend. Cincinnati was on a bye. Utah looked, I believe Utah might have been on a bye as well. Yeah, they were. And then BYU and Tech played each other. Tech obviously dominated.
Arizona State has this much of a chance.
You could call it a chance, but I'm not going to call it a chance. No. They're done in my opinion. Looking at it, the best bet for the Big 12 to get 2 bids is to have Tech and BYU play in the championship game and BYU win a close battle.
Right.
That would be the best case scenario for them. Big 10, I think you're down to 5 teams that actually have a shot left. Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon are all your front runners. You've got Michigan, you've got USC kind of hanging out there. Again, we talked about the Iowas, the Washingtons that were kind of hanging out. They're now done. So go ahead.
On down.
Yeah.
And not get to the Big 10 championship.
Yeah.
So and none of those have anywhere close enough of a resume to get there.
Correct.
Minnesota doesn't have a resume without winning it, and they need a ton of help to get there.
Yeah.
Iowa, same thing. Michigan still has a chance. We think Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon will probably all be there. The question is, can USC or Michigan get one of the other spots?
And I mean, I think your most realistic. I think both have shots if they win out, but I
Yeah,
think your most realistic one is to see Michigan beat an Ohio State, which isn't crazy to talk about, and then they slip in that way.
right.
All right. SEC for our final conference here. The four of A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, I would feel like they're definitely going to be in. And then you look at Oklahoma, Texas, and Vanderbilt. I think those are the only three left with an actual shot.
Yeah, Tennessee, Missouri, same thing now. Um, Vanderbilt and Oklahoma, they have a chance. Texas certainly has a chance. But beyond that, I agree.
And then, yeah, I mean, I think the SEC is definitely going to get four bids. I don't see a situation where they go less than four. I would almost say it's 50-50 that they get a fifth bid right now.
Yeah,
I think Oklahoma probably has as good of a shot, or Texas have as good of a shot as a BYU, a Utah, Jew of getting that second bid, and they definitely have a better shot than Cincinnati or Houston. Oklahoma gets Alabama this weekend. Definitely, if they would win that, they're going to jump up into the playoff picture, and then things are going to get really, really ugly really quickly.
yeah.
Moving along to our week 12 here. Diving into some of the biggest games of the weekend. Actually, that is a lie. Sorry, guys. I skipped straight over our Heisman discussion here. So let's run back real quick. Give me your top three and tell me why it's not going to be Julian Sayin or Fernando Mendoza winning the Heisman.
That certainly felt like Mendoza's Heisman moment on.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, that was huge.
For
But
those of you that haven't seen it, you can find it on any of my social pages. It should be there on all of them. But they were about 15 yards out with about 13 seconds left, down by 4. He threw a touchdown into the back of the end zone, got a little help from his receiver, scored a touchdown. They ended up winning by 3. Sorry, I cut you off, Mike. What were you saying?
I mean, he's the leader at the moment, but we still got 3 weeks left, or potentially 4. And Ohio State's quarterbacks has something to say about it too.
And also, it's not like he's a clear cut leader. I mean, you and I might sit here and say yes, he is, but I mean, odds, like the betting odds, are actually in favor of Julian Sayin out of Ohio State over Mendoza right now. Plus 160 for Sayin, plus 170 for Mendoza. It's close, but it's a clear 2-horse race at the moment.
Yeah, for now.
Do you think? I mean, Ty Simpson, Marcel Reed are close. They're plus 500 and plus 7 respectively. Everybody else is in the thousands at this point. So, can Reed or Simpson make it interesting?
I mean, there's certainly a chance with that. What I wonder is, depending on how these final weeks go, right?
Yep.
I want to see what Georgia's quarterback's stats are now. Mm,
They're not going to blow you away.
no, they're not. But
just over 2,000 yards. Go ahead.
But if he has a good last 3 games, and they were to say win the SEC championship, and he has good games in all of them,
it's definitely possible.
I mean, if they went out and win the SEC championship game, I mean, they'd be knocking on the door of the top 3 in there.
Yeah. Completely fair. He's plus 3,000. Gunnar Stockton is right now. I mean, what gives me kind of pause is he only has 15 touchdowns through the air this year. He has added 7 on the ground, but that still barely gets you over 20. And you've got guys like Simpson and Mendoza and Sayin that are up pushing closer to 30 at this point.
Mendoza got 2,300 passing yards, 26 touchdowns. Yeah.
So there's just a bit of a gap, I think, starting to form. And the hard part is the schedules are not balanced, so it becomes really difficult. But I don't think the Heisman committee voters are going to go any further than just looking at it like that.
Yeah. But I just thought I'd kind of add a little wrinkle in there.
Agreed. I mean, it's definitely possible. And something to keep an eye on as we move along next week. I'll be curious to see if our stats look the same or if they look different when we record this time next weekend. Moving ahead here, let's go to our week 12. We're going to kind of preview week 12 here, sitting about 25 minutes in, so we'll keep this kind of rapid fire, but we're going to do some picks. So, Mike, what's your game of the week?
Game of the week. I mean, it's got to be Oklahoma and Alabama, right?
I would say so. I the only thing that gave me pause was Texas and Georgia. They seem to always play just absolutely elite games together. So that was kind of my pause,
Oh
but
yeah,
I would agree.
that's where I was looking for. I'm like, where is Georgia at? It's down in the 6:30 area.
Yeah, they're on the later
Yeah,
night window.
Georgia,
So
Texas, and also and Bama and
Oklahoma.
yes,
Yep.
and then you could also add Notre Dame and Pitt in there too.
Yeah, absolutely can. And I was going to call them out. College Game Day is actually going to Pittsburgh to
Yeah,
be at that game instead of taking an SEC game. So I do love that. I like that they've spread it out the last couple of weeks. I'm sure the end of the season is just going to be SEC games, but at least for a couple of weeks here, they've had some fun spreading the love a little bit, and I do appreciate that. So rapid fire picks here. I'll be at the Toledo and Miami game on Wednesday night. Pretty excited about it. Who's winning? I had to throw one just curveball game into this pick here.
Toledo versus Miami of Ohio. I'll go with the home team. They should
I'm Go
win the.
ahead. I agree. I'll take Miami just because it's at home. I would pick whoever's at home on that one. Um, Clemson and Louisville play Friday night. I'm gonna take Louisville on a bounce back kind of night here.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts?
I tend to agree. I was actually kind of surprised that Louisville is in favor by more.
Isaac Brown is hurt and out for I believe the year, so that's probably got something to do with it if I had to
Uh,
guess.
well, that does make a difference.
Minnesota at Oregon. Ducks on upset alert for the second straight week here. You think Minnesota does anything?
I think 24.5 points is way too much.
I agree.
Um, I think Oregon wins, but it's not going to be by 3.5 touchdown.
I'll take 15 to 20 points, but yeah, 24 feels like a
I'm
lot.
not sure Oregon gets to 25 points total.
That is also very true. Um, Wisconsin at Indiana. Who you got?
30.5 is the spread for that one.
But after the way Indiana looked last week
Yeah,
and the way Wisconsin trended, that's a lot of points.
that's what I mean. I mean, I think Wisconsin covers. I think Indiana will win.
We are not being very fun with our picks right now. Apologies for that, guys. But Notre Dame at Pittsburgh. Let's have some fun here. Suddenly, all of a sudden, Pittsburgh got included in the CFP rankings. There's a lot of buzz coming from Pittsburgh. Both are 7-2. The winner is eliminated from the playoff race. Winner
No,
controls their own destiny.
winner is still alive. The loser is the one that's eliminated.
Thank you for correcting me. Winner controls their own destiny. Who do you got?
I feel like each week I think Notre Dame's getting too many points, and then early on it looks like that was correct, and then all of a sudden they're winning by 30. So I suspect Notre Dame will win by a good 20 points or so.
Give me Pittsburgh to pull the upset.
Ooh, okay.
College game days there. We're gonna have some fun.
Maybe.
I wanted to take a different pick. Pittsburgh's not a bad team. I do expect Notre Dame to win, but I'll take Pittsburgh to pull the upset for now. Arizona at Cincinnati. This is a noon Eastern tip off or kickoff, so it'll be a 9 a.m. game for Arizona. I'm taking the Bearcats.
I'll take Arizona just to go against the local hype.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We're gonna come back to the two games of the weekend, but Virginia and Duke. This is at Duke. Virginia has not looked good recently. Their margin for error is completely gone. Who do you got?
I think I'll just take Duke at home.
I think I'm gonna join you. I am not sold on this Virginia team at all, so I'll agree with you on that one. Georgia Tech at Boston College. Again, we already talked about BC being awful. Wanted to throw this on there. Just Georgia Tech's been kind of treading water recently. What are your thoughts?
I'm kind of amazed that they're only. I mean, I know it's a road game, but 16.5 points against a 1-9 team is pretty low.
I'm taking them to cover. I put them on here because we have Wisconsin and Indiana with a 30-point spread, and then you get to Georgia Tech and Boston College, and it's 16. It's like
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on here. Um,
that feels like a trap.
yeah, I'm taking Georgia Tech to cover that as well. Um, North Carolina State at Miami. Miami has lost a home game this year. They've also lost a road game, but North Carolina State has played spoiler a couple times already. Do you think they do it again?
Not this time.
I was hoping you were going to have a hot take there. Miami for both of us. I agree. Iowa at USC. This is one that I think could be really interesting. I'm going to take the Hawkeyes to get it done. That defense is just too potent for me.
I'll take USC. I'm not. I don't really trust in Iowa enough to get it done.
Should I trust Iowa? Probably not. Am I going to regret this? Probably. All right.
So now here's where I could see a fun upset. Northwestern at home against Michigan. I think Northwestern has a chance.
Ooh. Okay, picking with the local squad up in Evanston, I see.
Yes.
I'm
Maybe
taking Northwestern to lose. Sorry.
be looking forward a little bit too much to Ohio State. Although that's 2 weeks away, so I don't know.
So are you taking Northwestern straight up?
Yeah, let's go
Okay.
for it.
Finally, let's have some drama. I'm taking Michigan, and I don't necessarily think it's going to be close, but we'll see what happens.
Might not be.
2 games of the week here. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Texas and Georgia. Rematch of the last 2 SEC championships, I believe, and should just be an absolutely elite game. Who do you got?
All
It's in
right.
Athens.
Where is it's in Athens, so I'll take Georgia.
I'm going to join you. Georgia doesn't lose at home, and they've already lost once this year, so we'll take Georgia as well, and we'll move along. Now, the true game of the week, in my opinion, Oklahoma has a chance to really solidify themselves as a playoff contender. Do you think they get it done?
They're at home, aren't they?
Yes.
No, they're not. It's on the road.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry.
I'll take Alabama.
Okay. I will join you as well. Sorry, I thought you were asking. I thought you said Bama was at home. Um, I'll join you with that. I think Alabama gets it done, and we can end the Sooner playoff hype there.
Well, they'll still have a chance of 3 losses, but it won't be as well. They'd have a better chance of 3 losses if they won today, if they won that game.
Fair enough. Yeah. I don't think there's going to be enough quite on that schedule to get it done.
It might not be.
The loss to Texas, they're just losing to too many big teams. All right. I think that about covers college football. Is there anything that you wanted to hit on with college football that we have not touched on, sir?
I think Missouri handles Mississippi State. BYU should handle TCU. Boise State, San Diego State's a fun Mountain West game, but otherwise, no.
Yeah. I feel like this football slate has kind of like shrunk a little bit. That might just be because we're looking at the pretenders and contenders at this point, but I feel like it has shrunk to a degree this week.
Fun fact: Northwestern and Michigan are playing at Wrigley.
All right.
Not in Evanston.
I love that. Good for them. I'll be excited to see if they continue doing those kinds of randoms games at Wrigley or things like that, or if they go over to their new stadium 24/7. I would assume they'll stay at the new stadium all the time in the future. Yeah. All right. With that, let's move our discussion over to some college basketball. Hoops are finally here. We started with an 8 a.m. tip-off on Monday morning, and we have gone for the entire week. Has just been absolutely amazing. What are your thoughts? How's this first week been for you?
Intriguing when it comes to what are we gonna see now from is the SEC gonna be as powerful as they were last year?
No.
No, right. Can the Big 12, not the Big 12, the Big East and the ACC have better years than they haven't in the past couple of years. How does the Big Ten going to look? How how are teams just outside of the top, you know, 5 leagues, the A10, the American Conference, the Mountain West, WCC going to look?
Yeah. I think to answer your Big East question to start, I do not think the Big East is going to be better this year. The Big 12, I do, however, think is going to be better. We're recording this before Baylor and Washington play tonight, but that is going to be kind of a measuring stick for how the middle of the conference is going to look. The top end of that conference is going to be good.
The Big 12?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Big East, I mean, you had Providence, St. John's. I mean, who else? Who am I missing? Providence, St. John's. There's one more big game. Villanova, sorry. All had very winnable opportunities that they let fall, and that really hurt them. The only good win that they had this week in the Big East was the Georgetown Hoyas. Getting that win over Maryland in Maryland, so that will be a quad 1 win.
One of the top 10, probably best wins so far.
Yeah.
But, maybe Georgetown is back, and I think the Big East as a whole have done well to avoid, tripping up on some of their bye games, but they really haven't picked up any good quality wins.
Right. Like if we're talking about Maryland being the headline win for the conference, which we are, you're not in a great spot from a top end standpoint. I will give Xavier and Seton Hall some credit for just pulling out ugly wins when it would have been really easy to have given up those bye game losses. So I will say they've done well with that. But
Marquette just got blitzed today.
Marquette looked bad.
Yeah.
I have been on the Indiana hype train for about 3 months now. This is not something new for me, but this is something that I have kind of just been like rolling with. I think Indiana is a good team.
When you can actually score, it helps.
Exactly. They put up 100 on Marquette. That is a great result.
Yep.
Before we get into all the daily kind of thoughts here, what are your thoughts on the freshman class this year? I think it's the deepest class we've had and probably the best class we've had in years.
I mean, it seems like they've been pretty productive so far.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, when you've got guys like Pete and other guys stepping up that aren't the AJ DeBansas or the Cam Boozers, I think it just kind of shows how deep the class is. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, right.
Just to get the local stuff out of the way really quickly, I know we're going to touch on Xavier a little bit more in a bit, but Xavier was 2-0 this week. They did not look good, like I mentioned. Cincinnati was 2-0. Looked really good on Monday night. Looked less good on Friday night. Still got the win. And then NKU, the Norse put up 126 on Monday against Cincinnati Claremont, but then followed that up by just getting absolutely stomped by Tennessee. Massive week for all. What?
Expected.
Yeah, I mean, and my article earlier today, I put that like nothing was crazy out of the ordinary. They just looked like a team that just didn't have the talent to kind of compete there. Xavier this week has Santa Clara at home, Iowa on the road. Cincinnati has Dayton. It's technically neutral, but it's basically a home game for Cincinnati. And then NKU is at Eastern Tennessee State. So all three teams locally here have huge results coming up this week. And we should know a lot more about the teams coming into this next week.
What do you make of the ACC so far?
So the ACC is 35-1.
Yep. With one loss being Boston College losing to Florida Atlantic on the road in overtime.
Exactly. And I'm starting to think Florida Atlantic might be a decent basketball team at this point too. They look good. It's not like they're playing in this field of 68 thing as well. And they look good in what they're doing. Best wins, North Carolina's win over Kansas and Chapel Hill. They also do have that really solid neutral court win from Duke over Texas. We'll see how that ages, but at least that is a good name win.
Virginia Tech beat Providence and
then, yep.
Could that eventually be a tiebreaker down the road? Don't know. We'll see. Too early to tell.
It definitely could be part of it. I would agree.
Overall, not any bye game losses is a good start for now.
Yes. And I mean, when you're a conference that big and you have 35 wins to the one, I mean, that's just really, I mean, I hate to say the obvious that it's important, but like that's kind of what I want to say. I mean, the ACC has given up some by game losses in the past, but you've got Florida State winning by 40, putting up 100 points at night. That's going to help down the road a
Yeah.
ton with metrics.
So
Another conference, we'll kind of roll through some of the conference highlights before we go into the day-to-day scoreboards. Big Ten at 30-1, significant win being the Michigan State over Arkansas, and then the one loss is Maryland's loss to Georgetown. So nothing bad there either.
no, and I mean, I think I recall a couple other decent wins that they got too,
Yeah.
uh, along the way. Well, obviously Indiana's today was pretty important.
Well, yeah. So I wrote the agenda was written out before the Sunday slate started this
Yeah.
morning, so didn't have that. But Indiana blitzing Marquette, like we mentioned earlier, was very impressive as well.
Oregon has been pretty concerning though. Two
Oregon, yes,
close wins.
yes. So I'll give them the break. I know that Shellstad hasn't played. I'll give them just a little bit of a break before I kind of hone in on them as being overrated, but definitely concerning at this rate.
Yeah.
Moving along to our Big 12, we already kind of touched on, but they are 26-3. Their best win being that Arizona over Florida win. TCU did lose to New Orleans. Horrible loss. And one that probably keeps TCU out of the tournament, judging based on what I expect them to do. Yeah.
There has not been a whole lot to cheer about other than Arizona's win over Florida.
Correct. You started, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's all. That's what. Well, Oklahoma State was really impressive today.
Again, today after I wrote the agenda out, but they,
right.
I mean, beat Texas A&M by 25. I don't think A&M's very good, but that is still an impressive win nonetheless.
Yeah.
We touched on the Big East at 18-3. Moving to the SEC, they're 25-4. No bad losses. All four losses are good losses to good teams. They've challenged themselves. They're not going to have that historic offseason they had, or non-conference that they had last year. They're not as deep as they were last year. But that Alabama win over St. John's yesterday at Madison Square Garden was very impressive.
They might have the best win so far.
I mean, that's a true road. I mean, because that was a home game for St. John's. I would argue they do, yes.
Yeah. So, like, if I was going based on resume, I would probably put Alabama at number one at the moment.
Agreed. And that could change. I mean, that'll change 100 different times before we have any sort of meaningful data. But I would agree for now, Bama is definitely up there. And they get Purdue coming to them this week.
That should be interesting.
It will be. Moving to a couple of the not group of five, mid-major conferences. Sorry. Switching from football is hard. Mountain West is 15-8.
Oof.
This is the conference that has had the worst opening week of really any conference, because after you get outside of these top 9 or so, you're expected to lose a ton. But 15-8, 4 really bad losses. Boise lost to Hawaii Pacific, which is a D2 team in a strip mall. Grand Canyon lost to Youngstown State. Again, not a bad Penguin team here in the horizon, but a team that Grand Canyon with at-large hope should have beaten.
Yep.
Fresno State lost to South Carolina Upstate. Again, a low major, not a great loss at all. And then UNLV lost to Tennessee Martin at home. Again, a bad loss.
And it took, I guess, some kind of divine intervention for Nevada to not lose the Pacific.
Yes. I didn't even get to mention them. Yeah. I watched them play last night. That was, yes. I think that we might be headed for, and we've talked about this a lot offline, a 2-bid Mountain West this year.
Utah State looked really good against, for most of the game against VCU until the end, but they held on to win.
Correct. And that's the best the win that the conference has.
San Diego State, we think they'll be good. We haven't seen them play anybody that's relevant yet.
Yeah, and they're playing as we speak as well.
I
believe.
They beat Idaho State by 16.
So they won today. Nothing crazy to write home about that.
No. But if you're saying Utah State has their best win of the conference, great. So you say maybe San Diego State and Utah State are your two best. Then who?
Nobody.
New Mexico? I mean, it's too early to tell.
I don't think New Mexico is going to be a tournament level team, but go ahead.
What I was going to say is yesterday, I mean, things didn't go too terrible. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that Air Force is really bad.
Yeah,
So losing by 20 at home to Austin Peay is terrible, but they're just bad.
it's
Uh,
Air Force. Yeah,
right. San Jose State, I don't expect to be good at all. They gave UC Santa Barbara a little bit of a challenge, but
yeah,
still loss. Some of the teams that lost their opening game came back and were good. So, but that may just be helping some of the other teams at the top help their resume more than helping themselves.
correct. And speaking of teams that bounce back a little bit, I think we'd be remiss if we did not touch on Boise. They did look good yesterday in their second game. Came back, they won. They looked a little bit better, but a Division II loss absolutely will be on the team sheet, and
Yep.
it absolutely will show up in everything but
Then,
your like predictive metrics. So the
yep.
net or the Kim Palm. It is there. It is gonna hurt them, and I almost guarantee you that will keep them out. I don't see a I don't see the committee putting in a Boise State over a middling power conference team with a D2 loss like that.
Now they're in an MTE later on, aren't they?
Yes.
Because I'm looking at what else they have after the rest of their non-conference schedule, and not a lot.
Yeah.
They get USC and Butler. I don't know what that's going to mean, really.
USC should be decent. I expect Butler to also kind of be bubble, but those are still just Q2 games, probably.
It certainly doesn't make up for a Division II loss.
Exactly. And I mean, the way that I kind of look at Q1 through 4 losses are you kind of need a Q1A loss to balance out a Q4 or Q1A win to balance out a Q4 loss. So if you're looking at what would effectively be Q5 and D2, you really need two big wins. And I'm not saying, oh, you beat New Mexico at home. I'm saying you beat a good team on a neutral site or something like that. So they're going to need help.
Boise State plays St. Mary's at home. I highly doubt St. Mary's is going to be a top 15 team in the net again.
Correct. And maybe they're a top 30 team. I'm not super sold on them, but it's hard to tell. So maybe they get there, but I agree.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like how many losses they can have,
A couple.
Yeah, maybe more than that, but not many more than 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Plenty more on the Mountain West. But what that does open up for, I want to pause before we move to the next conference here. Liberty is absolutely beating the brakes off of FAU after I just hyped up FAU.
Are they
So
really?
apologies. Yeah, it's like a 20-point game.
Oh, wow.
57-39. Liberty is up 14 minutes left in the second half. So apologies for jinxing FAU, if you want to call it that.
To be fair, the
But
game is going on, so it's
exactly. I just was oblivious. Let's go
Yeah.
with that. But the conference that I think has the most opportunity when you compare it to what the Mountain West is doing is the A10. I know
Yes.
you called them a 4-bid conference in our preseason podcast before we switched over here. They are 24-4 to start the season off. Their worst loss is Fordham losing to New Jersey Institute of Technology, and their best win right now is St. Bonaventure over Bradley.
Yep.
Loyola is in a close game right now with North Texas. That would be a pretty big win.
It's left.
Yep. It's going to be, I've got it on in the background behind me here, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
This would be a significant win for a Loyola team that lost to Mercyhurst this year or this week.
That really hurt.
This would almost balance that out a little bit.
There may not be enough mercy for that loss.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done. Other conferences that we kind of haven't talked about, other teams in the A10 that I kind of wanted to mention. Dayton struggled with some inferior opponents, so I'll be curious to see how they look on Tuesday. And overall, it's just going to be a bit of a kind of touch and go situation, but they've avoided those really bad losses outside of NJIT and Fordham, who we weren't really expecting to do much anyways.
Right.
Kind of an Air Force situation with the Mountain West, if you will. Gonzaga looked really impressive last night against Oklahoma, and then St. Mary's has kind of rolled against some opponents. San Francisco and Memphis played a fun game yesterday.
Yep.
Wanted to make sure I called that out. Memphis got the win, but San Francisco looked solid. Both of those could end up being bubble caliber teams. Other than that, Mike, any other thoughts or teams you wanted to mention? I know we're not going super low major or anything, but any other thoughts?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
It's hard week 1 and week 2 because you don't know who are actually going to be your storylines until you kind of get into it. So that's where we're at right now. Is just trying to figure it out. Like we talked about, the MVC or MWC is definitely having an advantage played with them, with the A10 kind of taking advantage there, and then you've got the ACC and Big Ten debate or Big East debate at this point. I think the ACC's got the leg up for the moment. It'll be interesting to see what happens kind of moving forward and if they can catch up or if that will kind of just be the kind of get behind the 8 ball and never catch up situation.
Yeah, it's just so early in the season, so it's hard to really know.
Absolutely. But what are we if we're not giving wholesale hot takes here 5 days into the year? I mean, we got to do something fun.
I hope my 3 or 4 bit A10 works out well.
I do as well, and this week has been definitely encouraging for that take. I will give you that.
Yes.
All right. Moving over to our we will talk really quickly. We had a mailbag question, wanted to make sure we touched on it. Does Xavier have any potential?
What do you think? I mean, you're the local team.
Without being too critical, this is a rebuilding year. Fans should be very patient and understand that this is not a team that is expected to win a ton of games. I would expect if you can get to 15 wins, you're probably pretty happy with how the season went. So no, I do not think so.
We've talked about how a team's schedules in the non-conference can often be indicative of what they expect.
Yes.
And it was not one indicative of a team that thinks they're going very far.
And especially, I mean, you got to also, I will account for, there are 2 injuries for Xavier right now. From North Dakota, Amir Pinham, and I know I mispronounced his name. I apologize. Super athletic guard that was going to provide some bench depth and some much-needed athleticism. And then Gabriel Pizzotto, who was expected to be the best player on this team, tore his meniscus in June, and he'll be back at the end of the year. But both of those being out really just limited any ceiling or any hope you had for this team.
Xavier, some of their better non-conference games are coming up. Santa Clara, Iowa, the Georgia game. They'll probably be a pretty significant underdog in that game, even though it's at home.
I haven't looked at lines yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if Xavier's an underdog against Santa Clara. They'll probably end up being a point or 2 favorite if I had to guess, but I don't expect it to be a good or a easy game for Xavier, to say the least.
I don't know how much stock you take, but if you look on the ESPN analytics thing, it has Xavier winning 65% of the time. But
yeah. But I think that just kind of shows how close it really will be if it's just 65%. That's interesting.
And it's a home. Santa Clara's got to fly and into.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they played just the other day. Like, it's not like Santa Clara's had a big break to get over here. Like, They got over here the other day. I think they flew in today, actually. Next question was, is Georgetown back? I'm going to let you answer first.
Good start. No question about that, right? I mean,
I agree.
They get the win over Maryland. We'll see if that continues. They got Binghamton and Clemson coming up.
Yep.
The Clemson game is important. So, obviously, so is the game against Binghamton too, but,
Yeah. I think that, personally, they're probably back. They're probably at least going to be competitive this year. I don't know that they're I don't know what you want to call back. I know the question was kind of left open-ended to us, but I won't say they're all the way back, but they're definitely in contention to be back. So Ed Cooley has a track record of year 3, 4 kind of turning it on. I'll see if he can do it. It would really help the Big East if they could continue to look good like this. With that, let's do some picks. We're 55 minutes in. We're going to spend 2 or 3 minutes here. Rapid fire, we're going to hit like 15, 20 picks here pretty quickly. Monday night, Xavier Santa Clara.
I'll take Santa Clara.
I'll join you in taking Santa Clara. Mississippi State, Iowa State. It's a neutral site game.
Mississippi State, Iowa State.
Yes.
Give me Iowa State.
I agree. Mississippi State didn't look great against, I think, North Alabama. Josh Hubbard just kind of pulled them away. Iowa State will be too much for him. Moving to Tuesday, we got Texas Tech and Illinois. I'll take Tech.
Let's see where this game is.
I believe it's at Illinois, but I could be wrong. I'm a big JT Toppin person.
I'll take Illinois, but
I like it.
I like JT Toppin. He is very good.
Yeah. Wake Forest and Michigan. This is at Michigan. I'll take Michigan. Yeah. I agree. Dayton and Cincinnati. This is downtown Cincinnati, but obviously that's just a hop, skip, and a jump from Dayton as well.
Yes.
I'm taking the Bearcats.
I'm going to say this is where Dayton starts to make its run as an at-large and wins that one.
Okay. I'm interested. Any reason why, or just not trusting Wes Miller, trusting Dayton a little bit? Thoughts?
If the A10 is going to get the bids they need, they're going to need these kind of wins.
So you're just digging into your four-team projection here. I like it.
Yeah, I just think if it's going to happen, this is where it has to come from. So,
I absolutely. This is a key game for the entire conference.
Yeah.
Creighton and Gonzaga. This is in Spokane. I'm taking Creighton.
It's it's not a long travel, I guess, but
halfway across the country, no big deal.
I'll take the Zags.
Fair enough. They looked very impressive again, as I mentioned for last night. Kentucky, Louisville. This one's in Louisville. I'm taking the Cardinals. It's the best backcourt in the country.
I agree.
I think Kentucky gets exposed a little bit, especially on defense here.
Yeah, they have not been all that impressive yet.
Agreed. Wednesday night, got to touch on the Norse. They're playing at Eastern Tennessee State. Who you got? I'm taking the Norse.
Oh, man. Let's see.
The logical pick is to take ETSU by like 10. Yeah, I understand that.
Great, actually. East Tennessee State's the better team.
Yes. No, I think NKU, if they're going to do what I think they can do this year, from what I've seen across the team, they're going to need to go in and beat this team, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Missouri in Mizzou. I'm taking Mizzou.
I agree.
And North Texas and Oregon State. At Oregon State, I'm taking North Texas to get a sneaky victory here.
I'll agree.
Moving to Thursday, backyard brawl, Pittsburgh at West Virginia. I'm taking Pitt.
Taking Pitt. I agree.
Also Thursday, Loyola. Go ahead.
Not liking what I'm seeing so far from West Virginia.
Agreed. Exactly. They struggled with both teams they've played that they should have beaten big. So I agree. Loyola at Wichita State.
Wichita State's probably winning that game, honestly.
They're probably going to win it by 15 or 20 points. I'm sorry. Loyola is down 2 right now to North Texas.
And seconds left, yep.
Yeah, I don't have any real trust in the Loyola team right now. That's not to say it won't change, but they have not started the season well at all.
Nope.
Purdue and Alabama at Alabama on Thursday night. Trey Kaufman-Wren is going to be questionable to start the season or to start.
I'll take Alabama at home.
I agree. I was at Purdue on Friday night. Was not super impressed.
Nope.
Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer are great, but I worry, especially before TKR gets back. There's not enough there yet.
Yeah.
Damn good team, don't get me wrong, but just not Alabama level good yet. Friday night, UCLA and Arizona.
Former Pac-12 matchup.
This should be a conference game. Change
I'll
my mind.
I'll take Arizona.
I'm going to take UCLA.
Okay.
I'm high on Cronin's kids. I'm probably going to regret that, but I'll take UCLA for now. Loyola just tied the game with 3 seconds left. Michigan and TCU on Friday night.
Michigan. I don't think TCU is very good.
Mike, Loyola just got beat at the buzzer.
Really?
North Texas.
Yeah.
North Texas just hit a free throw line jumper. I apologize. I am multitasking. That was pretty impressive. But North Texas gets the win over Loyola in a really impressive neutral site game there for North Texas. Back to Michigan and TCU. Sorry.
I don't think TCU is very good. So
agreed. High Point at UAB.
Okay.
I tried to really not just throw in the big names.
I know.
I'm trying this year. I'm taking High Point.
I will too. It'll be their high point of the year so far.
You're going to overuse that joke this year because this team's going to be good.
Yeah,
I mean, they looked good their first couple games, so I think they'll get there. And I don't think UAB is very good after they lost Jacksonville, so that's what I'm going with. Xavier at Iowa. Does Iowa win by 10 or more?
They should.
I'll take Iowa by like 12.
Yeah. So far, Iowa's looked pretty good. So
and Xavier has looked very, very poor.
Yeah.
Moving on to Saturday, and again, I am trying to throw in some North Texas's, some Loyolas, like that kind of thing, just because this is not just a podcast about the top 5 conferences. I want those mid-major battles. I want to talk about some of the low major teams when we can. Saturday, though, Sunday, same thing. We're going to have high major battles all over the place. Oklahoma, Nebraska. I'm taking Oklahoma.
I'm going to take Nebraska.
Ooh, I like it. BYU, UConn in Boston. So it'll probably be a semi-home game for UConn, I would assume.
I'll take UConn.
Technically. I'm going to take UConn as well. If this was a true neutral, I'd probably take BYU, but that'll effectively be a home game at TD Garden. Maryland and Marquette.
That's a game that, you got a couple of teams that, well, I don't know if they play a game before then, but have a couple of losses that were, and somewhat disappointing. I mean, Marquette was supposed to beat Indiana, but they weren't supposed to look that bad. And
correct.
I don't think Maryland expected to lose by double digits at home to Georgetown. So this is kind of an early important game for both of them.
Yeah, it is.
But I'll take the home team.
I like it.
Don't love it, though.
Yeah, that's not a confidence pick right there. We've got Clemson and Georgetown in DC. I'm taking Georgetown.
I agree.
It should be a really good day. It could be a really good or a really bad day for the Big East.
Yep.
Sunday, we've got Notre Dame at Ohio State.
Ohio State should win that game.
Agreed. Houston and Auburn and Birmingham, Alabama.
I think I would take Houston.
I am going to agree with that. I don't trust Auburn.
Yeah.
And we've got the battle for the Sunshine State happening in Jacksonville, Miami, and Florida. I'm taking Florida in a landslide.
Yeah, I would take Florida too. I don't think that'll be too difficult for them.
Agreed. All right, guys. You got game picks. You've got all of the thoughts and the key matchups. We kept it right at an hour. Appreciate you guys getting on here and listening to us ramble. We are going to be back next week. This will get smoother, I promise. But if you want to hear more, please like, subscribe. Make sure you hit those follow buttons on any social media. And please just give us a share. We appreciate any kind of feedback you give. We're going to have some guests on kind of throughout the year as we get established. So you'll get to hear some insight from some great people. So make sure nkYbracketology.com will have this and all of our written work as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and just make sure you stay nice and active on those socials, and we'll be back soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.